Hello friends, today we will be discussing about poverty and it will be part 2 because I already made a video that is part 1 in which I discussed about the definition and the types of poverty and the measurement of poverty. Okay, I talked about the measurement of poverty in terms of the indices that are used for that. Okay, now in today's video we will be talking about the measurement of poverty in India. Okay, now first of all we should be knowing that in India poverty is estimated by the Niti Aayog. So the Niti Aayog do this on the basis of the consumption expenditure data. This consumption expenditure data is collected by NSSO. This NSSO is National Sample Survey Office. So what this NSSO do is that it collect the consumption expenditure data, that how much expenditure is being done on consumption by the people, and it is and this data is then estimated by the Niti Aayog. So this is used for that. Poverty is estimated on the basis of a methodology suggested by an expert committee. Okay, so expert committee suggests that how what kind of methodology should be used for estimation of poverty and all of that. So for the sake of this we will study the committees that recommended the methodology during the period of years from 1970s to till date. Okay, so first of all we will be talking about YK Alakh committee. So, this committee was set up by the Planning Commission at the time in 1979, and it expressed poverty line on the basis of minimum nutritional requirements. It used this basis of minimum nutritional requirements. Okay, now the second one was the Lagdawala Committee. This Lagdawala Committee was formed in 1993, and it also expressed poverty line on the basis of minimum nutritional requirement of 2100 kilocalorie. Okay, so this was the minimum nutritional requirement, and they set for the urban areas 2100 kilocalorie, and for the rural areas they set 2400 kilocalorie. So for the rural area they set the 2400 kilocalorie per person per day, and for the urban area they set 2100 kilocalorie per person per day. Okay, as per the norms of ICMR. ICMR stands for Indian Council for Medical Research. Okay, now the poverty line is estimated on the basis of the money needed to buy food containing minimum required calories. Okay, so this minimum required calories that is being given, that is 2100 kilocalorie for urban areas and 2400 kilocalorie for rural areas. This much amount of calorie requires the money, and the money needed for buying this food is the basis for estimating the poverty line. Okay, this is the basis for estimating the poverty line. So in 1973 to 74, the poverty ratio was about 55%, and in 1993 to 94 it was about 36%. Okay, so this methodology that they used we can say uniform reference period. They use a uniform reference period based data, and this reference period is 30 days for expenditure on all items. So they used this duration. Okay, it used the uniform reference period or recall period, that is 30 days for expenditure on all items. Okay, so let's move on to the third one, Professor Suresh Tendulkar committee, that was established in that was made in 2009. Okay, so it expresses the poverty line on the basis of expenditure on a basket of commodities. देखो see the it used the basket of commodities. Okay, you should just learn this term so that you will remember that what methodology was used in this Suresh Tendulkar committee. It is very important committee. Okay, so they use this basket of commodities. Okay, or in this it takes into account expenditure on selected food and essential non-food commodities like clothes, housing, educational expenses, medical expenses, etc. Okay, it selected the same poverty line basket for urban and rural areas. So here it did not separated the urban and rural area criterias. So the same thing was applicable on both, and it used a mixed recall or reference period based data. So okay, I hope you are getting this. So it just uses a basket of commodities. Okay, now the poverty line for rural areas was estimated according to this methodology was at rupees 27 per person per day, and for urban area it was rupees 32.4 per person per day, and it was at 2011-12 prices. Okay, poverty line to be indexed to CPI inflation. So CPI stands for consumer price index. So what they did is that the poverty line was indexed to this CPI inflation, consumer price index inflation, and this thing is done so that it can consider the inflation also while calculating the poverty line. Okay, um, this was about this Suresh Tendulkar committee, and now let's talk about the next one. So the next one is your Dr. C. Rangarajan committee, and it was formed in 2013. And this committee expressed poverty line on a basis of expenditure on a basket of commodities, that is expenditure on food and non-food items. So in this case also they used basket of commodities. Okay, it recommended separate poverty line basket for rural and urban area. Rural area and urban area, there was separate baskets, and it used modified data. It used modified MRP based data. Okay, it is some technical thing, and it is not required here. Okay, it what is important is that it estimated poverty line at 32 it at rupees 32 per person per day for rural area, and rupees 47 per person per day for urban areas at 2011-12 prices. Are you I hope you are getting the 32 rupees 32 per person per day was estimated poverty line according to this methodology for the rural areas, and rupees 47 per person per day is the poverty line for urban areas. Okay, and if I will talk about the last one, the last thing that I mentioned in point number 5, you can see that this point number 5, task force on elimination of poverty, it was established by Niti Aayog. Okay, it was established by Niti Aayog in 2015. It was established in 2015. It was headed by first vice chairperson of Niti Aayog, Dr. Arvind Panagaria. Okay, the committee suggested improvements in the poverty alleviation programs and policies. It did not arrive at any poverty line, so it suggested that another committee should be set up by the government to suggest a new poverty line. And it suggested that till a new poverty line is adopted by the government, the Niti Aayog will use Professor Suresh Tendulkar poverty line. So here you can see that the Suresh Tendulkar poverty line, they recommended for this. So they recommended for this, and we already studied about that in our previous the third point. Okay, this is that, and it is the most important. That's why I already told you that it is the most important one, and you need to pay attention to it. Okay, so these were basically the important committees, and now I will tell you about the international poverty line, and then we will talk about multidimensional poverty index. So this international poverty line, what is this? This international poverty line was given by the World Bank. The World Bank provided the international poverty line, and according to this, the poverty line is about 1.9 dollar, $1.9 per day, $1.9 in PPP. Okay, PPP. Okay, so it is called extreme poverty line. It is fixed by World Bank on the basis of national poverty lines of 15 poor countries. Earlier it was about $1.25, and in 2015 revised to $1.9. In India, 21.2% people are poor, we can say. Okay, now also the World Bank classified countries into you may have heard about it, that World Bank classify countries into low income countries, lower middle income countries, upper middle income countries, and high income countries according to the poverty line. Okay, according to the poverty line it does so. For example, the high income countries have about $21.7 per person per day poverty line, and the low income countries have about $1.9 per person per day poverty line. So this is the thing about international poverty line. Now if you talk about the multidimensional poverty index, it was developed by the UNDP, United Nations Development Program. It was developed by that along with the OPH, along with OPH DI. So what is this OPHDI? It is your Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative, and in it was done in 2010. Okay, it measures poverty on the basis of deprivation of households in respect of various basic amenities. Okay, here also it is considering the deprivation of household in respect of the basic amenities. Okay, so this was about the multidimensional, and this was about the multidimensional poverty